Hey, welcome to a stream. I got this fun YouTube delay thing, but you guys will catch up. Sorry if I'm sitting there weird for a minute or two. What's up, everybody? It is time for another stream. In this stream, we're going to be checking out the fall 2021 anime season and doing a preview for that. So I'm pretty excited to get into this. I love anime. I hope I can introduce you guys to some anime that you'll enjoy. We're going to go through, you're going to see all kinds of stuff you're not going to want to watch, stuff you might be interested in, stuff that hopefully you'll listen to my recommendation and check out. But we'll get into that here pretty quickly. That being said, I do have a couple of announcements right here at the beginning of the stream. First, shout out to Cass and Lost. I see you guys in the chat. Appreciate you being here already. That's super awesome. I wanted to do, I got two things that I wanted to show to you guys real quick. So the first one is I mentioned in my previous video that I was going to do some updates to Ko-fi, which I have done. The goals updated here, so feel free to go check that out. I'm not going to harp on it a bunch right here at the beginning, but definitely go check that out. Along with that, you'll see a change in the banner here where it says live every Sunday instead of 3 days a week. So I'm making a change to the streaming schedule for right now, where I'm basically only going to be streaming on Sundays, but I'm going to be streaming for a longer period of time on Sundays. So right now, Sunday streams are anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. My plan is to actually just start earlier on in the day, maybe around 4 or somewhere in there, and then just stream for an extended period of time. This will give me room to do all kinds of stuff in one big stream. You guys will know to come and hang out, and I think it'll be a lot more reliable for me to show up and stream every Sunday. So next Sunday, the stream that we're going to be doing is going to be the Steam Next Fest stream. So the next Fest is coming up on October 1st. And if you don't know what that is, it's just an indie games festival, basically where Steam puts up hundreds of demos for indie games. So I'm going to be live on Sunday. We're going to be going through, checking out everything in Next Fest. We're going to be downloading demos and playing them and checking them out and just kind of figuring out what looks cool together. So that's going to be the stream next Sunday. Now, even though I just said, bigger, longer streams, this one's probably not going to be ridiculously long. We're going to go through, I think there's somewhere around like 30, 35 anime we're going to talk about. And depending on how much we get into each one, kind of determine whether or not that, the stream is pretty long or not. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is, if I can find it here, the podcast is going. You can check the podcast out on Spotify, but if you need a link to the podcast that isn't Spotify, just let me know in Discord, because I do have it up. It's available on Anchor as well, which is kind of tied into Spotify, but you don't need a subscription or anything. I'm putting this out. This is coming out weekly every Tuesday. So along with the big Sunday stream, I'm going to be doing the podcast weekly. And then my goal outside of that is maybe to put up, a non-live stream video on the YouTube channel once a week or so. So we're going to see how that goes, work with that. So Cast lost to Lost. That's correct. Yep. Lost beat you here, Cast. Sorry. The only time it'll ever happen. So live it up. Okay. So yeah, that's the bulk of the announcements that I wanted to cover here at the beginning. We're going to get into this here. I've got some chill beats. We're going to throw these on in the background so it's not just my voice. And then we're going to jump in and get into this anime. So first off, I wanted to let you know that the only issues I've ever had with copyright strikes on YouTube that stopped me from live streaming and stuff were with anime trailers. So we're not going to be looking at anime trailers here today, unfortunately. I did this through Discord before, but I can't record it and put it up. I wanted to do the live stream. So we're not going to be checking out trailers. But I do have a super cool presentation for you guys. I put a lot of work into it. I always do. It's about an entire free day of mine that I spend working on these. So I hope you guys will enjoy all the information I have for you, the graphics and the style that I've created. And I'm going to walk you through what I use and what you can use to also kind of keep track of the stuff that you're interested in watching, and also check out the trailers. So I want to direct you to anichart.net. You can see the URL up over there in the browser, but it's anichart.net. If you go there, it'll automatically put you on the fall 2021 page, and this will have all the shows that we're covering in this live stream. Now, once you're here, you can sign up for an account at AnyList, and then it will actually give you a list that you can tie into. It's pretty sweet. My AnyList is over there. I've got that up there. I don't have the link in the description. I'll put it in later. Sorry about that. But anylist.co/user/Setsuko will give you my AnyList, and you can follow along with, the stuff that I'm watching. Check out ratings. I have over 900 anime watched. So if you're ever looking for something, a recommendation, and I'm not around, or you just want to browse, you can check out my list if you want. But you can also make your own account. If you do, let me know so I can follow you and keep track of what you're watching and comment and make recommendations. I would love to do that. And if you do make an account, you can use AnyChart to tie directly into that. Desert Traveler, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. I hope we find some cool anime for you today. So if you're on anychart.net, you're going to get these little squares. These are the different shows. So, for example, this is Blade Runner Black Lotus, right? It'll tell you the genres here. It'll give you a little summary. It'll tell you when the anime is going to air. And if you hover over it, you get this little window here, and this will pop up, and this will play the trailer for you. So for anything that we're checking out, you can come here, and you can check out the trailers on your own during your free time. That way, I don't have to worry about copyright strikes. So, that being said, let's get into my presentation that I've got for you guys. I, again, hope that you really enjoy it. Like I said, I put a lot of effort into this. I hope you guys really enjoy the graphics and the way everything's are laid out. But let's start. Let's kick it off. This is the fall 2021 anime preview. So this is going to be the best recommendations for what to watch and what to skip, plus anime that you can binge from earlier on in the year that's already out. Real quick, a little bit of background about me. I already mentioned I've watched over 900 anime, like completed, but I've watched, maybe not completed. I've watched a ton of anime. I've been watching anime for 15 plus years. Used to blog about it, used to write about it, etc., etc. You can check out my AnyList if you want to see what I'm all about. So, let's get into it. All right, we're going to jump right in. The way that I do this is I basically have stuff laid out in these like hype tiers. Like how hyped, how excited am I about a show? Or I try to keep it a little bit like impartial as well. Sometimes I'll post a show into one of these categories thinking like, well, even if I don't personally think it looks awesome, if you like it, it does look pretty good. So you'll see that here coming up. But we're going to kick things off. We're going to go from least exciting to most exciting. I did want to let you know there's several shows that I'm not covering in here for either one of two reasons. One, they're continuing from previous seasons, or they're coming back for another season. So it's a show that already exists. So you either know if you like it or don't already. And if you're not sure, if you're not familiar with it, it's easy to look it up. You can just go watch it. Or the show is so just bleh, that it's not even worth mentioning. So it could be like a kid's show, or just something that just looks so terrible that it's not worth mentioning. That being said, this stuff that's like meh is stuff that I don't think is gonna be great. Stuff can always surprise you, right? So let's get in and take a look at these. So first up, Blade Runner Black Lotus. I really don't think this looks good. I'm not really going to read the summaries here unless, I think it's relevant to my talking points here. You guys can pause and read, the summaries or check them out on AnyChart if you want to. But this is a Blade Runner anime. It's entirely 3D. It doesn't look horrible, but the 3D doesn't look great either. It kind of looks like a knockoff direct-to-video Disney movie, and that's why I think this is probably going to be pretty bad. It's not anime in the sense of it, having that animation and stuff. There's a lot of anime these days that do the 3D stuff, but sometimes they do it well. Sometimes it's okay. This looks like it's probably just going to be bad. Hype Level Man needs to be a t-shirt. Hey, I like that idea. Maybe we could do that. All right, next is Tesla Note. Now, I just talked about crappy 3D. This looks even worse. So this is another show that, I mean, the premise sounds okay, but terrible 3D. Any of this stuff that I'm talking about the 3D, just hit the trailer on AniChart, take 10 seconds to look at it, and you'll go, yeah, I get it. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on hype level meh. We're just going to blow through, and if you're like, yeah, but I think it sounds cool, check out the trailer. Pride of Orange. So this is another 3D show, and I mean, look at my summary. I wrote this one like from scratch myself. It's an anime about a girls' ice hockey team called the Dream Monkeys. The end. Sometimes sports anime is good. Some of my favorite anime ever is sports anime. This looks super generic, and it actually just looks... It looks like a bad, like, CGI from a video game, almost. Like, if you look at some of the footage, the characters are there, but the backgrounds lack all sorts of details. They're in an ice hockey rink. It's just... It looks pretty... bleh. Next up, we have Deep Insanity, The Lost Child. That's the most anime title. Maybe not the most anime title, but it's pretty anime for the title here. This is one that, again, it sounds like it could surprise you, but it just looks bad. Again, like the 3D, you know, like I said, check it out if you want to. Visual Prison, this one I do have some stuff to say, okay, about this one. This one is about vampires, and it actually looks halfway decent. It's another 3D one. So much 3D. But it's so weird because, like, half of it looks good, right? But then the other half of it is, like, the vampires actually perform visual K music like they're an idol group. So you're going from like this, like actually like kind of decent looking vampire stuff that's going on, and then all of a sudden it's like, but they're idols. And I'm like, man, you've seen that meme that's like, you had me in the first half. This is like that, except in the first half it was good, and then you surprised me, and now I'm out. And you can see here, like, this dude's got a microphone and everything. Like, if you like idol shows and singing in your anime, maybe check this one out. But I personally don't, so I'll pass. And then we have Night Beyond, the Tri-Cornered Window. I don't know what a tri-cornered window is. I know what a tri-cornered hat is, but I don't know what a tri-cornered window is. So this one is kind of interesting. This guy with the brown hair here can see creepy stuff. The yellow-haired guy is an exorcist, and they team up and they kind of, you know, investigate these creepy exorcism type things. And along the way, they get involved in this like murder case. So the reason I put this in meh is, even though it sounds like a decent premise, this is a shonen ai. Okay, shonen ai is a genre that basically is like your boys love. So it's guys like guys kind of thing, which is whatever, right? Doesn't matter to me. However, looking through the trailer, I was really, I don't want to say turned off, but in the context here, but I really didn't like the way that they were presenting this relationship in the show. It seemed very like possessive and just weird. Like, I'm perfectly fine with a romance, you know, a same-sex romance in a show or an anime or anything like that, but this looked like the kind of like, just like, I was getting like a creepy, uncomfortable vibe watching it, just based on the way that they were interacting. So that it kind of tanked the whole thing for me. You know, check out the trailer for yourself, and, you know, if you don't get those vibes, cool. It seems like a pretty decent premise for a show, but it just kind of really, it was vampire J-pop. That's exactly what that show is, except it's J-pop. Yeah, not the upbeat fun kind of J-pop, but it's J-pop. Too much 3D. Hope it's not it's definitely a new trend, believe me. I can't remember if this one had 3D. I don't think it did. Toxic relationship. Yes, that is kind of what it reminded me of. You know, looking at the trailer, I was like, you know, I just don't know if I want to watch that. Megaton Musashi is basically like anime Power Rangers, I think. It doesn't look horrible, but it's a story about these three dudes who each pilot a mech that combines to form the Megaton Musashi. And it, like, the animation and stuff looks okay. It does have 3D, But overall, it just kind of made me think that it's probably a kid's show, but kids shows have evolved enough that it looks kind of cool. Even though if this was made when I was a kid, I would have clearly known that it's a kid's show. It could surprise me and come out of nowhere, but I mean, you can kind of see, like, if you look at the mech up here with the eyes that that's not a, like, we made this show for adults. It's an adult mecha show kind of thing. The character designs make me think, like, oh yeah, maybe, like, this guy especially is just like, Argh! Like, you don't really see that kind of stuff in a kid's show, I don't think. But that's what it reminded me of, so, yeah. Selection Project. This is an idol show. I don't really watch idol shows. I do really like the character designs in this one. It looks pretty decent if you like shows about idols. I don't. I've tried to watch several of them, and I've never been able to get into them. So if you like idols and singing and all that kind of stuff, maybe check this one out. I don't. So that's why it's in the meh category. Pretty simple there. All right. Let's go. Okay, we're out of the meh. We're into the stuff that's going to be more exciting. Here we go. I got to get those out of the way because I want to make sure not only do you know, like, the good stuff to check out, but you might be like, huh, what about this one? And then I've covered it for you and you can be like, oh yeah, that's what he said. So I want to make sure you get, like, the good, the bad, etc. So this is hype level neutral. This is stuff that I think could go either way. It looks like it has potential to be good, but it could also, like, fall right into the meh category. But the trailers weren't bad enough. The synopsis wasn't bad enough for me to just immediately be like, nah. Idol shows another bad trend. Now, idol shows are not a trend. They've been around for years and years and years. They're not going anywhere. All right. So first off, we have Shikizakura. So this is one where you've got people who are in these, they're not mechs. They're kind of like Iron Man suits. Think Iron Man suits. And for this one, they're fighting against these creatures called the Oni. And that's basically what you're going to get out of this anime. The reason this is in neutral is because it's got 3D for the suits. As you could tell, they're pretty 3D here. And I couldn't tell from the trailer whether the fight scenes were going to be good or bad. Okay, they looked very, like, they didn't show enough for me to be like, that looks terrible. They didn't show enough for me to be like, that looks good. On a personal level, I'm probably not going to watch this more than like an episode. But if you can tolerate it and you're into this kind of stuff, maybe. We have Build Divide Code Black. So this one's interesting, okay? This is a anime about a card game. To my knowledge, it's not a card game that actually is out yet, like Pokemon or something. It may be, or it may be that they're putting the anime out there to promote the card game. And in almost every circumstance, I would put this straight into the meh category and be like, nah, like we're not doing card game anime, okay? We're not 14 or whatever. We're not doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or whatever. But this one, it looks like it could be good. If you've ever seen like Fate Stay Night, and if you haven't, check it out. Dope anime about a battle for the Holy Grail. Lots of fighting and cool stuff. This is kind of different in the sense that when the people play their cards, they actually summon fighters onto the battlefield that really reminded me of the characters from Fate Stay Night. Like this, the chick in the picture here is one of those fighters. And they're not summoning like 18 different, like creatures onto the field, and they're just generic. They all look really unique and interesting. And so even though it's based on a card game, I think it still could potentially be good. If basically what they're doing with the cards is going, bam, here's my cool like night chick that's going to beat the shit out of you. That could be good. It could be. It could also be terrible. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Like I was really surprised to find that I was kind of sold on this card game anime. Okay. Please, if you guys have noticed down here, I have the genres for the anime, so you can kind of know what it is. And if you look at the last one here, that's really all I need to say. This is basically a hentai, and I put this in the neutral category. This is not the kind of show I will watch. But if you like this kind of show, it looks pretty good for it being this kind of a show. And I mean, the summary is right there. This guy puts himself in a cold sleep because he has some sort of disease. My wife's over here cracking up about this. He wakes up and 99.9% of men on the planet are dead. They've been killed by a virus. So of course he wakes up and is just like, 5 billion women per 5 men. Oh my goodness, it's 1 billion women apiece. That sounds like a nightmare scenario, honestly. But in an anime, like, I'm sure it works. And if you look at the trailer for this, like, it's pretty risque. Like, I mean, some of the scenes they show, I was like, how is this not just a porn? How is this not just hentai? I don't understand. But it's not, or it's not being billed that way. And there's actually been a few anime that have released over the past year or two that have been pretty damn close to being hentai. And they basically put like a censored version up, and then you could go somewhere else and find the uncensored version, which is still like borderline. So Cass, you knew what it was based on the picture. I mean, obviously she's got a collar on, you know, like, so yeah. Not the kind of thing I watch. I've never really been into the ecchi style anime. She'll watch it. I won't. So if you like this, it actually, I mean, it looks like it's gonna deliver on what you want, right? It's not an ecchi anime that's just gonna like tease the whole time. Like it's pretty intense. Did you lose a bet and have to include this? No, I just genuinely, there's people that like these shows. I'm not one of them. And, you know, I'm not here to shame you if you want to watch it. I'm here to tell you, hey, if you like this, it actually looks pretty good for what it is.
I like these shows.
Next up, we got Blue Period. So Blue Period is about a guy who's pretty studious and he discovers art. And this show looks like it could be pretty good. It depends. This show is very much going to depend on the development of the characters. And I mean, it depends on that so much that I really can't say whether it's going to be good or bad, because the artwork is not generic, but it's kind of generic. It's pretty close. And the premise overall of it being about art is also something that, you know, it's going to be really up to interpretation and stuff. So I just couldn't determine whether or not this one was going to, you know, whether or not it was going to be good or going to kind of fall flat. It's really going to depend on the characters. But if you like a very character-heavy sort of anime, this is probably going to be one to check out. Aggie says she'd watch it just to laugh at it. They're usually good. This one doesn't. That one didn't look like a comedy. Lost is still not any closer to understanding women. Join the club. We're all part of it. I think we're automatically included. Okay, so then we have Muv-Love. I think that's how you say this. Or Move-Love. I don't know. Muv-Love. I say Muv-Love. Alternative. So this one is in the neutral category because it's got 3D, which looks okay. And it's based off of a visual novel that's actually incredibly popular. Incredibly popular. But even though it has a very popular source material with the 3D and everything, it doesn't mean that it's going to translate to a really good anime necessarily. It's probably going to end up good if you like mechs and you like 3D. Outside of that, I'm not quite sure. But this is another one of the ones where like, hey, the Earth's being invaded by aliens and we got to fight them off with giant robots. But it does have that pedigree of being based on a very popular, very highly rated visual novel. Built-in stress balls. Okay, this one's a fun one. Okay, this is The Fruit of Evolution. Before I knew it, my life had it made. Stupid ass title. And if you look in the genres, I put a special one in here for stupid ass long titles. We've got a few of them this season. So this guy looked like this, and he was a kid that got bullied in high school, and then one day over the announcements, over the intercom, the voice of God came through and was like, get ready, I'm going to transport you to a different world. And He got transported there. He ate the fruit of evolution or whatever and turned into this. So, of course, he went from being like the fat, short, ugly kid to, some beautiful boy. And when he arrived and turned into this gorilla fell in love with him. This walking, talking. This sounds so stupid just saying it. This walking, talking gorilla fell in love with him. And of course he's like, oh my God, it's a gorilla. No, you're, and she's like, no, I'm beautiful. And all this stuff. And, it's pretty obvious that eventually she eats the evolution fruit and turns into a beautiful girl. And, he's like, oh, yay. Woe is me. Not woe is me. Like, hooray for me. My life is just turning out to be so great now. So, yeah. I honestly think this looks kind of dumb, but it might be funny. I kind of really I don't like the premise all that much, it's very much like I suck. I eat this thing. Now I'm awesome. You suck. You eat this thing. Now I'm awesome. But originally we never were just, I don't know, man. It's just like, have some self-confidence regardless of what you look like. I don't know. It's something about that just rubs me the wrong way. But it could be okay. Come full circle and have some interesting furry stuff. Kind of. It's like, oh, she's a gorilla, but she's not really a gorilla. Yeah. Let's move on. Hype level excited. These look like they're definitely going to be good. Okay. Like you can put these in, you can put them on, and you're going to get a solid anime out of these. So first off is Deji Meets Girl. This is the one that I used for the thumbnail. And I used it for the thumbnail, and then they updated the anime, and they were like, oh, it's a short anime. So this is actually a 90-second anime. Each episode isn't like 90 seconds or something. So I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot out of this, but there have been some short anime that I really, really enjoyed. One of them's about a guy who likes marshmallows. The other one's about Bikini Warriors. I know that sounds crazy, but both of those are actually really good. So the marshmallow one's just a cute slice of life romance thing, and the Bikini Warriors one actually just makes fun of the fact that MMORPGs and stuff like that have like bikini armor for all the women. And it's about like that. It's satirical. It's pretty good. This one looks pretty interesting. So the girl here works at a hotel, and she meets this guy. And when they meet, all this weird stuff starts happening, like fish swimming around, or a giant tree just suddenly grows and smashes through the ceiling of the hotel that she works at. And, I was kind of really looking forward to this when I thought it was a full-length anime. I was like, this could be pretty good. And now that I know it's a short, I imagine each episode is probably just going to be like, here's this one weird thing that happened, commentary. But that's still pretty solid. It could be good. I think it's going to be good. I like the art style for it a lot. And it's always fun to watch weird stuff happen. 90 seconds, yeah, there's quite a bit. You guys, you're all beautiful, wonderful people. All right, so we've got I don't know how you say it. Warrior at the Borderline. Okay, so this is another mech anime. However, this is by Sunrise, or a branch of Sunrise. If you're not familiar with Sunrise, they are like the animation studio for mech anime. We're talking like, if there's a popular mech anime, they've probably been involved in it. Not everything that they do is great, but if you're going to watch a show about mechs, you'd probably, put your money on watching something from Sunrise. The reason I put this in, it's probably going to be good. The trailer looks really solid. The mech designs are awesome. Like, coming from someone who doesn't really watch mech anime, I watched Gundam Wing way back in the day. I've watched Code Geass, or Gaius, or however you say it. A couple other mech anime in my time, but it's not a genre that I go heavy into. The mechs in this look sick as shit. They look super cool. So if you like mechs and robots, check this out. This, like, best mech designs the entire season, just hands down. So I think this has the potential to be pretty good. I think it's going to be solid. You know, maybe it'll be like super awesome. Maybe it'll fall flat, but I'm at least going to check it out because the mechs look sick. I got to turn off my language filter in this chat. I keep having to swing over here and click, yes, show the swears. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Taisho Otome Fairy Tale. Okay, so here's the reason. Okay, this probably would have been higher up on my list. This is a comedy, romance, slice of life. That is like one of my, that's like top 3 like genres for me. Like I love fantasy action ass kicking stuff. I love comedy. I love slice of life. Those are like the things, that's my genres. This falls right into that. I knocked it down a peg for reasons. Okay, so the guy in this is crippled in an accident. He hurts his right arm, right? It becomes useless. So his wealthy family that he is born into considers him ineligible to be the heir to the family because of his disability now. And so he's shuffled off to live in a house in the country. And then one day, his bride shows up. His father basically bought him a bride to help take care of him. The trailer looks pretty good. It looks like it's got comedy, it's got romance, it's got all that kind of stuff. But it's set in the 1920s, so I get it. But it's a little bit, I don't know if uncomfortable is the word. I don't know. The bride's 14, the guy's 17. That's perfectly normal for 1920s, but I knocked it down just a little bit. It probably would have been up a tier for me, but I knocked it down just a little bit because whether or not this is good all depends on how they depict the relationship. You know, if it's just like a healthy, like, hey, you know, we like each other kind of thing, fine. And from what I can tell, from everything that I looked into it because I was like, okay, let me see what's up with this. And from everything that I can tell, this is supposed to be a very wholesome, warm-hearted story that doesn't have any kind of like weird, sleazy stuff in it. So I think this is actually going to be really good. But just for the context there, I was like, just in case, I'm going to move it down just a bit. But I actually do think this is actually going to be, it looks like it's going to be a sweet, warm-hearted story. Something you watch like on the Disney Channel maybe, but as an anime. But there's just that, stigma, I guess, with anime where a lot of times they don't depict the characters' ages correctly, but I think they do it in this one. And so that goes a long way, I think, as well. Just a kind of acknowledging the relationship there. And yeah, I think it's going to be okay. That mech looks great. Yeah. If you like mechs, dude, that show is going to be awesome. Eggy's got the commentary. I appreciate you keeping the chat entertained. Okay, so Rumble Garandol, another mech anime. We got a lot of mech anime this season, and they don't all look fantastic, but some of them look pretty good. So this one is up here on the list because of the otaku aspect of it. So in this one, Japan gets invaded by this militaristic parallel world. And when they get invaded, the militaristic world takes over, and they basically suppress all the otaku culture and all that kind of stuff. However, there's like this resistance force for otaku stuff that's hidden in the shadows, and it just looks ridiculous. I've seen a couple characters in the trailer that look like they're parodies of other anime, like Gurren Lagann, the Kamiya? I forget his name. Anyway, the guy who's spoiler. There was like a parody of him in there, so I think this is going to have a lot of spoofs and maybe a lot of in-jokes if you watched a lot of anime. I think if the comedy aspect of it is really built up, it'll be pretty good, but if not, then maybe not so much. I'm interested to see how well they do with it. But you can kind of see, like, you got kind of like a Sailor Moon magical girl thing going on here. You know, you got like an Amazon box back here. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of puns and jokes here. Eggy did make us homemade Philly cheesesteaks today. That was amazing. They were so good. All right, the Faraway Paladin is probably a lot higher on other people's lists. It's a little lower on my list because I thought the art style was not all that great. But overall, it's an adventure fantasy. That's right up my alley. I love these kinds of anime. I'll watch them. Whether or not I think they're, top tier or not, I'll watch them. So in this one, there's a boy who is raised in this ruined city by 3 different undead. And so you can see him here. You've got the crazy big warrior guy. You've got kind of like the priestess and then kind of like the magic user back here. But they raise him. And obviously, as he grows up, he gets curious about, what's going on. Like, where am I from? Who am I? And so he sets out and to discover all the answers to those questions. And along the way, he's trying to become a paladin. And he encounters various gods, both good and evil along the way. Looks like it's going to be good, like just straight up. I don't know if it'll be great, but it'll definitely be a solid watch if you like adventure and fantasy. Here's another one of the stupid long-ass title anime. Banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. So this is a fantasy slice of life. The other kind of just, I'll eat it up. I don't care. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm probably going to watch it, and that's the case here. The guy was a member of the heroes party, and for some reason, he got kicked out of the party. It looks like he got kicked out shadily by someone who may have been jealous of him or something like that, but he just kind of rolled with it. And so he goes out to the country, and he wants to open up an apothecary and sell potions and stuff like that. And before he can get that fully underway, the beautiful princess, who was also, I think, in the heroes party, shows up and is like, hey, I want to live with you. I want to move in. She's very obviously like in love with him. And so it just turns into kind of them doing this slice of life thing, having this apothecary out in the country. But there's this undercurrent of like, why did he get kicked out? What's up with the guy that kicked him out? What's going to happen? All that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a little subplot that kind of threads throughout the anime for that, which is going to spice it up just enough that it's not a full-blown, straight up just a, comedy. Yes, I'm keeping up with chat, but you guys are just off on your own tangent, so I'll keep on rolling. All right. So we are at hype level number 4 out of 5. There's 5 hype levels. So this is pumped. Okay, this is shit that's going to be good. Like, hands down. It's going to be good. It may be great. Like, this stuff may turn out to be excellent. So this is like, really start paying attention here. Everything up till here, the meh stuff, you could probably skip. The neutral, honestly, you could probably skip. If you've got, limited amounts of time to watch. The excited tier, if it caught your interest because of the genre or the summary or the picture or something, check it out. This is where you really start paying attention, okay? So hype level pumped. This stuff's going to be good. First up, we got Tsukito Lika Toad Nosferatu. Weird name. I feel like it probably translates to something, but they just haven't translated it yet. This is kind of weird. For all intents and purposes, it's a anime about a space race between 2 superpowers. Sound familiar? But there's this weird twist where like there's also a vampire in it. And from what I can gather, one of the governments decides to basically use the vampire as a test subject for experiments to see how things are going to work out in space, which is weird to me because she's a vampire, not a human, so wouldn't the results be different? I don't know how they're going to play that out in the story, but she's there. She has, there's another character, Lev, who helps train her and stuff like that. And this looks like it's going to be about the relationship, not necessarily the romantic one, but about the relationship between Lev and Irina, who is the vampire, and them going through this training process to become cosmonauts or astronauts or whatever, and some of the struggles that come along the way. It's very evident through the trailer that a lot of the people that are in charge at this, training facility don't look at her as human, or as human as a person, I guess. You know, there's like scenes where someone just straight, you know, kicks her on the ground and stuff. Like they treat her more like an animal or something. It's not super heavy in the trailer where it's like, this is just going to be depressing as shit. But it's pretty obvious that's going to be something that comes into play. I think that this is the same thing. It's going to depend a lot on characters, kind of like Blue Period. But to me, this just looked like it already had a really solid foundation to go on. Like, even if the characters didn't develop like crazy, the premise is a lot more interesting, I think, with the space race and, you know, the vampire and the training and everything. I think this looks like it's just going to be, it's going to start from a higher, you know, position and it has the potential to just take off from there. I think this could be really good. And I don't even like space and astronauts and stuff. I'm not really a sci-fi guy. So, weird names sometimes are the best anime. Absolutely. Like, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Okay, Sakugen. This one kind of looks like it says it's a mecha anime. It sort of is. But in this one, humans live underground. Okay? And the girl here with the green hair and the guy, this is her dad. So they work together in a 2-person work robot and they mine for ore. That's what they do to, you know, survive and to make a living. However, the daughter, Mamenpu, which is a weird name, and her dad's name is Gaganba. So, oh man, that's just hilarious. She basically begs him for them to set out and become markers. So markers are the people that actually delve into the underground area. They scout out things. They map things out. They're spelunkers, as you can see. And the reason she wants to do this is because her mother left home when she was young. And they don't know where she is. And so going out as a marker is a way for her to search for her mother. This looks really good. The animation looks really solid. This looks like it has a lot of potential to have that like adventure vibe that you don't get in a lot of anime all the time, where you're actually going to see different flora and fauna and go into different, areas, different sort of biomes and stuff. So if you're into that, regardless of the mecha aspect or anything like that, if you like a good, solid sort of adventure discovery type anime, this looks pretty good. It also does look like it has some serious undertones. So even though the picture here, looks fairly cartoony, there's definitely some stuff that happens. I think they start to uncover the truth of the world that they live in and stuff. It's got a lot of good potential. I think I'm really excited to check this out. Mecha sci-fi stuff aside, it just looks really solid. The Vampire Dies in No Time is the first solid comedy we've got in this category. So this is about a vampire hunter who finds out that there's this vampire up in this mansion and he's kidnapping kids. And he gets up there and it turns out that the vampire is... It's not Dracul or Dracula. They spell it weird. I forget how it is, but it's basically Dracula, the progenitor of all vampires. And he's actually just a huge wimp and constantly dies and turns into ash. And the kids weren't kidnapped, but they're just going up there, pushing him around and using the haunted house as their playground. So he goes up there thinking he's going to fight this epic vampire. He gets up there. The vampire's a big wimp. But if you look at the trailer, there's actually a lot of minions, it looks like, of the vampire that are pretty badass. It looks like there's going to be some fights and stuff. The vampire goes to live with the vampire hunter, so you got that whole comedic aspect in there as well. This looks like it's going to be really fun, really entertaining. Just kind of like goofy, but also has the potential to have some pretty good fight scenes for whatever reason. So I think it's going to be pretty solid. There's some definite references to previous anime. This guy's looking a lot like the guy from Hellsing. Is his name Hellsing? No, it's Alucard. I think. Eggy will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. But I just always look at him like, Hellsing. It looks like that guy. And the vampire actually looks like a goofy cartoon vampire. It's actually pretty funny. But like I said, some of his minions and stuff look pretty badass. So... I like comedy. I like supernatural. I like fighting. All we need is slice of life, and there's some of that in there too. It's like all the genres that I enjoy. So I think this is going to be pretty good. Here we go. Stupid ass long title. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Imagine that. So this is another isekai anime. If you don't know what that is, people die, get reborn in a new world, essentially. This is a hugely popular genre of anime. It has been for the past like 5 years probably. There's some really good isekai anime out there, like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is one of them. I think Shield Hero. No, that's not a. Is it a isekai? Yeah, I think it is. That's a really popular one. There's a lot. So, yeah, check out the vampire one for sure. What the hell is this title? I know, right? I had to put that in there, like as the genre of anime, because it basically is its own genre now. So this one looks really cool because the guy here was like the ultimate assassin on Earth. And we're talking about he was a old, grizzled, hardened, like veteran, just like gray hair, like out there just sniping people, taking people down. He was a real badass, and he looks like a badass in the trailer in the anime. Okay? He dies, and obviously, he comes back as like this guy who doesn't look anything like him, but he's still got that attitude. And if you look through the trailer, he does Rambo shit, and that's why I think it looks pretty cool. He's like on a tree limb and like flips upside down, is like shooting a bow and stuff. I'm like, whoa, this kind of looks like they took the whole isekai concept, and it still looks like one. It still has the same kind of art style and stuff, but they're like, what if instead of it being some nerdy high school kid who can use his anime knowledge to do magic, what if it was just like John Rambo and we just went, boom, go fuck people up? And that's pretty cool, honestly. Like that, I think that's pretty cool. So he's tasked when he gets reborn into this world to actually kill the hero of the world, because they're going to bring about its destruction. So yeah, I don't know. My dad loved Rambo. I watched plenty of Rambo. Or you could take Bruce Willis from Die Hard, same kind of stuff. Just like pop them in a body and be like, all right, it's time to go screw stuff up. So, looks pretty good. Alucard. Okay, yeah, Alucard was the Helsing guy. Cool. Slime's a good one. An overpowered hero. Yeah, the overly cautious hero. Yeah, there's quite a few that are good. I've got several of them rated on my any list if you want to check them out. All right, Meiruko-chan. This one looks kind of funny. It's comedy horror, and that's cool. I like that. I'm trying to think, like, have there been any real comedy horror shows that I've watched? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but the girl, Meiruko, can see terribly grotesque and ugly monsters and stuff. And, unlike the previous anime we talked about where the guy's like, oh, I can see him and he teams up with an exorcist and, all that kind of stuff. She's like, nope, you don't exist. Let me put the blinders on. Creepy thing, off over here. Nope, don't see it. And so the whole comedy aspect of this is like she's trying to go about her daily life while ignoring this incredibly creepy shit that keeps popping up in front of her. And it looks good. Comedy, horror, I'm in. Like, it's got that fantasy aspect to it, kind of slice of life, because she's just trying to go to school, take her test, and then this crazy like dead thing is like standing in front of her desk or whatever. Looks pretty good. So I'm excited to check this one out. I think this one could actually end up being one of my favorites of the season, depending on how well they deliver on the comedy aspect of it. But it does look like there is the potential for some of these monsters and creatures to actually have a more sort of serious backstory for them. Like, it's not entirely just going to be, creepy, but, there might be side stories about the monsters themselves, potentially. Okay, this one is returning. I have a couple of returning anime that I really wanted to point out. So this one is Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. The first season of this was pretty good. It had a little bit of controversy around it, but I think it mostly died off, and the majority of people really, really enjoy it. So this one already has a first season out, which you can check out. I think it's 12 or 13 episodes. It's coming back for its second season here, fall 2021. And in this one, it's a isekai where essentially a bum gets reborn as a guy who has magical powers. You know, kind of like the very stereotypical isekai that I talked about earlier. But it's actually done really well. The animation's really solid. The characters are, I think, a little more realistic and understandable and relatable. The guy who is a bum is reborn, you know, as a boy. And I mean, he was like a middle-aged male. So when he sees a good-looking female, he reacts like he's seen a good-looking female. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just kind of like honest about it in that sense. And I think that makes it a little less annoying, because sometimes you get the isekai and it's, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, you know, I'm 14 years old and I don't know. Like, I like that they take that approach of it being like, yeah, that's probably what I would do if I was reborn and had all my memories and knew everything. Like, yeah, I would probably do these things or act or respond this way. But that being said, it's got, you know, some pretty good fight scenes in the first season. And the second season is going to kind of follow them as they try to journey home from a land. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to spoil it in case you want to go back and check out the first season. And this is probably my top, like, pumped show for the season. It's a comedy romance slice of life. I love those. And this one's called My Senpai is Annoying. So the main character is the little midget here. I've got my own midget. She laughed. And she's just a hardworking office worker. And her senpai, her senior at work, is this dude here. And she, you know, thinks that he's annoying, but, you know, she finds herself growing closer to him through, you know, day-to-day interactions. Kind of makes me think like Pam and Jim or something from The Office, maybe. So, yeah, it just looks good. It looks cute. I'm really excited about it. I recommend you check this one out. If you want something chill to put on that's just going to be like sweet and interesting and fun, this is definitely the way to go. And there's not a whole lot more to say about it. If you haven't watched a lot of shows like this, I got tons of recommendations, but this will be a good place to start. Okay. The last hype level, motherfucking fire. I had to swear a couple times in there. These look so good. These look so good. Like, if you're going to watch anything this season, watch this shit, okay? Watch the shows that are coming up now. All right? These all look great. All right. Let's get into them. Tact Op Destiny. Okay. This is the least hype one on the list. Maybe. Why do I even say that? Okay, so here's the premise. There are girls. They fight via music, and they fight in combination with a conductor. If you remember earlier, I talked about Fate Stay Night. I talked about the card game, where the card game, you pull it out, it summons someone who could fight. Fate Stay Night, they kind of summoned these avatars of like King Arthur and Lancelot and stuff, and they fought and whooped ass. Basically, this is kind of the same thing. Like, the girls are sort of the avatars. There's a composer who helps them in their fight. The animation looks sick. It looks so sick. It looks like, look at the character design. Like, she looks like this in the anime. I think it has some 3D, but like good 3D. So conceptually, it really just sounds like it's like dueling, like fighting it out. And I made a special note here in this summary. Mappa x Madhouse. Those are two absolutely amazing anime like, those are two powerhouse studios. And for them to be coming together on this anime is like, wake up and pay attention, okay? This is probably going to be amazing. Plot-wise, I didn't really see anything. I'm going to be honest. I didn't see anything plot-wise. The trailer is just like pretty animation, fight scenes. There's music and stuff, like whatever. But I saw how it looked. I saw the concept. I saw the studios, and I went, holy shit. So, yeah. check out the trailer for all of these. I'm telling you, some of these you need to watch the trailer because I feel like you're not going to get it without watching the trailer on a couple of these. This is one of them. Like, you need to just watch the trailer and look at the visuals and go, okay, I get it. This is another one where I feel like you should really watch the full trailer. This is the Heiki story. So this is about a girl, the one in the picture here. Her name is Biwa. And she gets taken in by the Taira clan, which is a super powerful clan, also known as the Heiki. And they take her in because they realize she has psychic abilities. She can predict things and see the future. However, what she sees for the Heiki clan is actually bloodshed, violence, and civil war. She sees the downfall of the clan. And the animation on this is very interesting. It looks like high quality bad animation. I don't know how to put, like, it just has it has a rough style to it, but it looks like it's intentional. You know what I mean? Like, and just the atmosphere, the feeling that you get from the trailer, everything that you see, it plays out like a dramatic, like epic, movie. Essentially, that trailer just makes you feel like, wow, stuff is really going to happen in this anime. And it's got a mild, supernatural element to it with her abilities, but I think it's going to come down more to like political power dynamics and stuff like that. Platinum End. Okay, so the main character is just like depressed, all that kind of good stuff, but an angel suddenly arrives out of nowhere to save him. But what actually happens is he gets pitted against 12 other humans in a battle in which the winner becomes the next god of the world. Now, it looks pretty cool. Here's the thing. This is based on a manga by the author of Death Note. If you watch anime, you have heard of Death Note, and you know how popular Death Note is. The author of Death Note also did another manga called Bakuman. Sorry. Bakugan is like a kid's anime. Bakuman, which I actually watched and really enjoyed. And it's totally like left field. It's about manga artists and stuff, and it's really good. So Death Note, Bakuman, both really good. This is by the same author, probably going to be really good. It looks really interesting. Trailer looks solid. Just great pedigree for the author. I mean, I don't need to say anymore. Author of Death Note. The end. Oh, this one. Man, this one. Ranking of Kings. Okay. You're going to watch the first half of this trailer, and you're going to be like, what is this show about this, like, baby prince? Like, what is going on? Then you're going to watch the second half of the trailer, and you're going to go, okay. So this is about Boji, who's a deaf, powerless prince that can't even wield a children's sword. He's the firstborn son of the king, but obviously because, he's got all these issues, like he, isn't really being considered as the heir to the throne, and he wants to prove himself. So he goes out, he finds a friend in this little shadow creature you can kind of see here. The shadow creature reminds me of the shadow from whatever that Netflix show is. Oh, what is it called? It's one by the creators of Futurama. Aggie will know. But I'm telling you, watch the first half and you're going to be like, wow, this is about this little kid prince. He's super whiny. Like, it's just him crying for half a trailer. Like, why? And then when it gets to the second half, you're going to see, I'm telling you, look at the character designs. Look at the art style. Look at the crazy stuff that there's like a devil that shows up in the second half of the trailer. And it's like, what is going on? This looks like the world building in this show is going to be like top tier of the season. Like, to me, it looks like it's going to be like Disney movie caliber animation. It has a style to it, but the quality of that style is so good. I'm so excited to see this. I really, really hope that it doesn't let me down, because like I said, the first half of the trailer is kind of like, ugh. But even that, like looking at it, you can see the style start to develop, and the shadow also just kind of definitely stands out from the prince himself. But I mean, you're gonna see like, just trust me, watch the trailer. If you watch any trailer, watch the trailer for this. Lost, you love Death Note? Well, cool. You should check out Bakuman, which I think is on Hulu maybe, and definitely keep an eye on Platinum End, obviously. This looks weirdly adorable. What's the show with the shadow by the creators of Futurama? The girl's the princess. Put it in the chat, just so people know I'm not crazy, because the shadow definitely reminds me of that. Comey Can't Communicate. I'm so excited about this. It's a comedy, slice of life, maybe possibly mild romance in there. So this is about a guy who encounters a girl, and she's like gorgeous and beautiful and like the legendary girl of the school. And he realized that she's not actually as aloof and cold as people think. She's just super awkward and has a really bad problem with communication. And so he decides that he's going to make it his mission to help her get 100 friends. It's a simple premise. The art style in this is so good. The character designs are actually pretty unique. They don't look like stereotypical anime character designs. They have their own look. I think the design of the characters actually do make Comey look like very beautiful and interesting. And I just really like comedy, slice of life, and everything. And this looks like it's going to be probably the standout slice of life show of the season. I think this is like the number 2 or 4 most popular show, most anticipated show of the season. And there's some heavy hitters this season, especially in returning anime, which you're going to see at least one of them next. So it's some stiff competition, and this is in the top 5. I think this is going to be really, really good. Disenchanted, yes, that's the show. The shadow guy from that, like that's what the shadow from Ranking of Kings reminds me of. Again, like I told you, My Senpai is Annoying is in the same kind of vein as Comey Can't Communicate, except I feel like this one's gonna be maybe a little more heartwarming. The other one's gonna be a little more romantically intense, probably. So both of those, I love these kinds of shows. Highly could recommend these. Come on. Do I need to say anything? Do I need to say anything at all? It's Demon Slayer, okay? Demon Slayer is back this season. So what we're getting is not actually a second season. We're getting a TV adaptation of the movie Mugen Train, which came out earlier this year or late last year. I can't remember. I think it came out earlier this year in the US and late last year in Japan, possibly. But we're getting a TV version of the movie that's going to be re-edited. It's going to have extra scenes and stuff like that. So we're going to get some extra material here. I wanted to go see the movie, but COVID and all that stuff. So I haven't actually watched the movie. I was going to watch it before the next season of Demon Slayer comes out, but now I can watch the TV version with the extra scenes and stuff, so that's going to be great. I think this is going to be about 7 episodes. It's going to be 7 episodes long, so it's not going to be a full season. It's going to be about half a season in length, but we're getting the second season of Demon Slayer next season, winter 2022. So this is going to lead into that. So, hell yeah, Demon Slayer Season 2. Season 2, it'll actually be January. Should be January. Unless they start it early, which maybe they will. I'll check into that. But, yeah. I mean, everybody in the chat's like, woo! I know I have to see it. It's Demon Slayer. I have a problem where I hold on to things that I know are going to be really good, and I don't watch them because I'll watch them when I have like a depressive day or I have like a week off, and I could just I know it's going to be good, and I just want to like 100% just focus in. Be like, no distractions. I don't want to worry about work, getting enough sleep, food, chore, nothing. I just want to I want to. And so I didn't watch the movie for that reason, because I was like, I'm not gonna watch this movie, But now I got the TV version, so that's cool. shocked he didn't see it. It's not because I couldn't see it. It was streaming on Funimation for like a long time for free. I just didn't watch it for that reason. Article I read yesterday said December makes sense if it's January. Yeah, I mean the next season starts in January, and it's for sure airing during that season, but it may be starting there. We'll see. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to cover for this season. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't cover. Let's run through a couple of things real quick just to let you know some stuff that I didn't mention. Then we're going to get into my binge recommendations. So a couple of things here. Fina Pirate Princess is continuing. Didn't bring that one up because I haven't actually had the chance to watch it yet, so I don't know how good it's going to be. Most of these are going to be continuations from previous seasons. Shaman King is continuing. The Great J, He Will Not Be Defeated. Aquatope the White Sand. These are all ones that are pretty like highly rated, that are continuing on. We're getting a second season of Restaurant to Another World, which is a nice fantasy slice of life. The first season aired a couple of years ago. But that's going to be one that, if you haven't seen the first season, it's pretty good. It's pretty weird, but in a good way. And there's a second season coming out. We have Yashahime continuing, which is the sort of like Inuyasha's sequel, I would say. And then 8686, weird name, but that's another one from the previous season that's very highly rated that I started watching, but haven't watched enough of to really recommend or talk about too much here. Also, there is a new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime that's coming out in December called Stone Ocean. But since it has such a long delay and it doesn't start until the last month of the season, I didn't really include it on here because it just seemed, kind of weird. There's also, like I said, a few anime that I just didn't touch on at all because they just really weren't worth mentioning because they were a kid's show, or whatever. So, binge recommendations. So, awesome anime from earlier this year that you can watch in one go. So here's what you guys are getting in this section. I rate anime on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. Okay, and this is how my my Annie list is set up as well. So if you guys check out my Annie list for any reason, you're going to be able to see the ratings that I have. I'm going to pop this over real quick. So I have 1 star is why did I watch this trash? It's stuff that for some reason I finished, but it's garbage. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of that. 2 stars is stuff that's forgettable. I watched it, I didn't hate it, but I barely remember what any of it's about. 3 stars, decent enough if you're bored. So if you're bored and you're just like, you know what, I just want to watch something fantasy, throw it on. Good. Something slice of life, throw it on. That's 3 stars. 4 stars is good shit. This is shit that you can just put on and you're gonna enjoy it. Like, this stuff is fantastic. This is kind of like the default rating that I give to a good anime. Then 5 stars is my all-time favorite anime. I do not hand out 5 stars all that easily. I reserve this for stuff that I just really, really, really love. As you can see, Demon Slayer's on there. So this binge recommendation section is the 5-star anime from this year. I won't necessarily have 5-star anime ready at every point during each year, but I have some shows that I've watched this year that I've given that 5-star, that treasured 5-star rating to, that you can go and watch the whole season right now if you want to. So I've got 4 shows. These are my recommendations. If you're hyped after, this stream, the season doesn't start till like next week. So if you're hyped and you're like, I want something to watch, this is where we're going to go. Now, keep in mind, I did not include anything that is continuing on. Okay, this is all stuff that was brand new this year. So for example, like that time I got reincarnated as a slime, 5-star anime to me. It's got a second season that came out this year. I did not include it here because it's not new this year. Okay, so these are the 4 shows new this year that I've given 5 stars to that I highly recommend to you. The first one is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. This is a comedy romance slice of life, and the first 2 episodes will probably make you cringe, may make you a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise you, see it through to the end. It's very good. So the reason I say it may make you uncomfortable, it may make you cringe, is because basically this guy is kind of a shy nerd, and he encounters this gorgeous underclassman when he's in the library, and she kind of just tortures him and bullies him. For the first 2 episodes, that's basically what it is. And so watching that, if you're like, this is going to be the whole show, it kind of, it may turn you away from the show. But essentially what you come to find, without getting super spoilery, is she kind of uses that as like a defense mechanism. And over the next several episodes, it tones down and becomes more of like a teasing, like, hey, I don't know, flirting with you thing is like the right way to put it. But Iggy can tell you I pick on her all the damn time. And it's kind of like similar to that, like picking on somebody, that you like or whatever. And the whole thing, it's funny, it's entertaining, it's cute, it's romantic. I really enjoyed it. I got to the end of it and I was like, man, is that 5 stars or is it 4 stars? And I went, you know what? I really just enjoyed it. It's 5 stars. So I recommend this one if you want a comedy romance slice of life. Just get past the first episode or 2. If you even have a hang up. Me, I was kind of like, she's got some weird facial expressions. Just move past them. Trust me, it's good. Next up, Tsukibichi, Moonlit Fantasy. If you like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime or anything close to that, watch this show. Okay, this is another isekai, sort of. The guy, the main character, doesn't die, but he gets transported to a different world because of a deal that his parents made. And when he shows up, the goddess of the world is like, yo, you ugly, get out of here. And she boots him to the edge of the world and just is like, nah. Because she's all about beauty. She's very, like, skin deep as far as everything goes. All the humans in the world are beautiful. And so even though he's just kind of an average guy, they basically think he's like a beast man or something. Boots his ass out there, okay? And then this story is just about him being like, you know what? Screw that goddess. Screw everything else going on here. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And he gains powerful allies along the way, starts to, grow, do his own thing. Dope fight scenes, good comedy, awesome characters, fan-fucking-tastic. Like, if you like, I'm telling you, if you like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime or anything close to that, if you like fantasy, adventure, comedy, action, watch this show. 100%. It's so good. So good. Number 3, Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen. Okay, so some of you are going to remember the last time we did an anime preview, which was a Patreon thing, I think last fall, actually. So hopefully we'll keep these going every season. I appreciate everybody chatting and tuning in and being interactive here. Like, that's very encouraging for me to, want to do this again. So thank you. You'll remember that this was one of the shows that was up there. And this show is so good. It's so good. And I may have broken the rule, actually. I think it might have come out last year. Shit, I might have messed up. Oh, well, it's so good. Go watch it. There's like 24 episodes out, I think. So this show is like your shonen action fighting show with a supernatural twist. So think Naruto, think Bleach, think maybe not One Punch Man, but, think those kinds of shows where you just got like kids that are fighting all the time, essentially. But this one has a much more mature take, a much more mature atmosphere to it. It's all about curses. So the main character, Yuji, basically, to save one of his friends, he eats this cursed finger, which is disgusting, right? And that just goes to show you, like, okay, that's how we're kicking this show off. He's going to eat a cursed finger. And when he does, he basically takes the curse of this Sukuna, like, crazy curse monster, into him, and it becomes a part of him. And now he's got this inner struggle between him and the demon that wants to, like, kind of, or the curse that wants to take over him. And so he goes off to like an exorcist school, essentially, teams up with some other people, these characters here. And the rest of the show is about them exercising curses and encountering more powerful curses, and, the plot between, like, what are these curses doing and what's going on, the political intrigue in the school. Lots of dope fight scenes, awesome atmosphere, characters that are cool. This show has got female protagonists that just whoop ass, and not because they're girls. And without getting too political, I love to see that in a show. I love to see people that just stand on their own feet and are just badass, regardless of gender or orientation or race or whatever the case may be. Like, it could be a badass frog person for all I care. But this one, I wanted to point out that, like, the female characters in the show kick ass, and it's pretty nice. So definitely check that. This is like one of the best supernatural, like, shonen fighting anime that's out there. I'm telling you, the tone of it, the look of it, absolutely awesome. Reminds you of Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist is actually pretty solid. The newer arc was so good. That would be a 5-star anime for me if they ever, like, solidly connected the damn storylines and, like, played it out and had it finished. It like pisses me off. The new season would have been 5 stars, but I was like, where's the rest of it? It's 4 stars, but Blue Exorcist is another very good supernatural one. I think overall Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen beats it out just because it seems like it has a coherent plot line and they're just going to continue it and ride it out. But man, that newer season of Blue Exorcist is so fucking good. Cash, you haven't seen Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen? Watch it. It's good. All right. I'm going to throw you guys for a loop with this last one here. I bet you haven't heard of it. It's called Odd Taxi. This show is nothing like anime, but it's an anime. This show is a masterpiece, in my opinion. This show is a must-watch masterpiece, regardless of whether you watch anime or not. Okay, I'm that deadly serious about this. This is so good. It's about a taxi driver named Otokawa, and he's a walrus, just cuz. And he just lives a mundane life. He just picks people up in his taxi, goes about his business. His only friends are his doctor and his high school classmate. And look at the tags. Drama, mystery, psychological. I'm telling you, if you walk away from this entire anime preview and do one thing, watch Odd Taxi. I'm serious. It's 12, 13 episodes. And I say that it doesn't have anything in it that screams anime. There's no superpowers. There's no, fan service. There's no anything. Like, if you took this anime and you replaced everybody in it with live action people and just told it as a story about people, this is something that could, in my opinion, win awards on television. It's that good. Check out Odd Taxi. That's seriously, I did this whole thing to tell you to watch Odd Taxi. Not really. But that is the last recommendation that I have for stuff that you can binge. Where to watch it? It's on Crunchyroll. Any of this stuff, you can just Google it. And most of it's going to be on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, Funimation, or Netflix. A lot of the stuff on Funimation is on Hulu, but not all of it. There are a couple things that might be on Amazon Prime. But yeah, check this stuff out. Anime Taxi Cab Confessions? No. Good guess, but no. So yeah, check out Odd Taxi. So that's what I got for the presentation, you guys. If you have questions, if you want other recommendations, anything you want to hear at the end, like, we're basically just opening it up. If you guys, want to talk about other stuff, the preview section of the anime season is complete. Please let me know if you enjoyed this format, if you liked it, if you think you actually got info and it wasn't just me saying, it's pretty the whole time. I want to make sure that I'm, for some of this stuff, it's kind of like one sentence and don't really have much else to say. But for a lot of it, I want to make sure, that I hopefully am communicating a good idea of why you should pay attention to some of these anime as we go. So, let me know. I am going to continue doing the anime previews as long as we've got, you guys chatted it up today. Thank you. Like, seriously. This is probably the most successful anime stream I've ever done. Definitely appreciate it. So I'll continue the previews. And, you know, if you guys really enjoy the anime content here on the channel, then I can definitely make more content. Maybe not necessarily as a live stream, but I could do, you know, recommendations for different genres or just pop up and talk about, you know, cool stuff. We could do like a mid-season checkup and I could be like, hey guys, this is what actually turned out to be good. This is what turned out to be bad, you know, stuff like that. This is amazing. Love the presentation. Thank you. You know, basically everything in the square that's above the link, the AniList link, is the presentation that I put together. Like I said, I put a lot of work into this. I usually put about a whole day or two into setting up these presentations so you guys have graphics and stuff to look at. I really wish that I could play trailers for you guys and showcase this stuff for you. But I'm just so worried about copyright strikes and not being able to live stream that I didn't want to do that. So I just try to emphasize really hard the stuff that you should watch the trailers for. The guy in 500k Woman, you should watch it and record your reaction with Eggy. What's that? Loving the preview, always looking for new. That's great to hear. Like, I'm very happy, Desert Traveler, that you're now part of the anime crew here on the channel. That's super awesome. Mid-season check-in would be pretty easy to do, I think. I just pull up this presentation and be like, good, bad, or just, you know, focus on the stuff that turns out pretty good. Overall, I gotta say, you guys, I think fall 2021 is a middle-of-the-road season. We've had better seasons, we've had worse seasons. I'm not overly, like... There's some stuff I'm excited about, but it does seem a little light on, like, the insane levels of hype. Just to give you guys a heads up here. So Platinum Inn and Ranking of Kings are going to be 2 core seasons, which means they're going to have at least 24 episodes. Next season, we're getting, you know, Demon Slayer, which is going to be awesome. The JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We've got some returning stuff next season as well that's going to be fun to talk about, some second seasons. There's plenty of stuff that I could recommend to you that we didn't touch on here because I didn't want to have like 87 anime at the end of, you know, the actual preview. But like I said, check out... I got my camera flipped. Check out my profile over there. Hit the anime list, and you can just find stuff that I've rated. Basically, anything that's 4 stars or 5 stars is probably worth your time if you think it looks interesting because of the genre, the art, or the premise. So that's an easy way to find something new to watch. Oh, Lost, you should not record people watching it. Oh, you're talking about the World's End Harem. That's the one you were talking about. Yeah, no, we're not gonna watch that. And you go watch the trailer, okay? Watch the trailer, and yeah, you'll see. I don't understand why it's not a hentai. I really don't. What do you guys think of the music in the background? This is royalty-free stuff that I can put in the background whenever, so should be good as far as copyright goes and everything. Wasn't too distracted, was it? All right, so again, next week, Sunday, remember, I'm switching to streams. We're just doing Sundays, but I'm going to be posting Sunday stream up pretty soon. Next Sunday, we're going to be, it's going to be a fun hangout, you guys. I really hope you can make it next Sunday. I love Steam Next Fest, and that's what we're going to be checking out next weekend, next Sunday. The live stream is going to be for the October Steam Next Fest Festival. All kinds of awesome indie game demos and previews and showcases. I'm literally just going to boot it up and just start going through, and I really hope you guys are in the chat to talk with me and go, hey, that looks cool, let's check it out, or like, you know, I really want it to be an experience where we basically are like checking out games together, whether it's just looking at the Steam page and going, no, or oh wow, that's so weird, or actually booting up the demos and, you know, playing them for 10, 20, 30 minutes and seeing what they're all about. So I'm kind of setting aside the majority of that Sunday to do that, so I hope you're looking forward to that. That's going to be the next live stream. The other one that I know we've got coming up for sure is going to be the Hallow stream on October 31st, and we're going to fill in between there as we go. Don't forget that the podcast is coming out every Tuesday, usually in the afternoon. So the next episode will be available for that. That's going to be all gaming news coming from PC Gamer, kind of giving you my take and keeping you up to date. If you haven't checked it out, I'm really proud of what I'm doing over there on the podcast. Hope you enjoy it, and I definitely think you should check it out. Don't take the last video that I posted with the channel updates as anything depressing. It wasn't. Just giving you an update. I've actually been really, really excited about everything going on with the new channel. We got some new subscribers. I'm really, really enjoying, like, aesthetically what I've been doing with the channel, the thumbnails, the presentations here. I don't know. I just feel like I'm in the zone as far as that stuff goes. So, I've just appreciated all the support you guys have had. You've been rock solid. So, thank you for that. And, music's good. Podcast is good. Appreciate that. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to end it here, but I'm going to hop over on Discord. If anyone wants to chat or talk, I'll be around here. I'm still working nights. I would love to live stream. What happened to my voice? I would love to live stream more, but I worked until 6:30 in the morning yesterday. Then I had to go back to work at 6 p.m. And then I got off work at 2 a.m. And then I got up and I worked on this presentation most of my day. Did the live stream here. I got to go back to work tomorrow at 5 p.m. So I'm going to try to slam in some video game time for myself and some downtime and stuff before I have to go to sleep. So like I said, a little bit shorter on the live stream this evening, but we got a big one planned for next week. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. I hope you had fun, and join me next week for the Steam Next Fest live stream. It's going to be so much fun. All right, everybody. Peace. I'm waiting for someone to react to me singing. I see you guys there. It's good stuff. All right, y'all. Bye-bye. I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up. It cuts me off. Like, I notice, like, when I end the video, it cuts it off before I'm actually done.